Back by popular demand. It is Just Saying with Mark.
And Fallon.
Here for another movie review. As you may have guessed by my hat, the one that started it all, the 1994 hit, Jurassic Park.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's right.
The original, the classic.
The Steven Spielberg, based off the Michael Crichton novel, that brought dinosaurs back to the forefront and made them relevant again. And created a whole new hype.
And scared the crap out of everybody.
Everybody, for years to come. Sorry, dog. So, this one starred Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern. And, again, this was based on the novel, even though Steven Spielberg deviated from the novel. I never read the novel, just Wikipedia. What's up? But, 20-something years later, as we reviewed this movie still will affect me in ways that the sequels don't.
Yeah, this movie still holds up with all the special effects, and it still looks very real and very much captures a fear.
So I remember back when this movie was coming out, and again, nothing like this. Steven Spielberg had done great years prior with Jaws and E.T., and movies, and then all of a sudden here comes a little movie called Jurassic Park, and there was a lot of hype. Just kind of like in the movie, lunch boxes and posters and video games and toys, it was everywhere. But they were very careful. It's not like today with spoilers. And going into this, I remember going into this movie with my friends and my sister, and even the awe that was with the characters, you could feel within the audience, including and especially to this day, it still gets me, the infamous T-Rex introduction and that whole scene that takes place after.
That, I've seen it so many times at this point, and every time that happens, my heart gets racing, and it's a very intense scene.
I remember I was able to finally see it with you when they re-released it for the 20th anniversary in 3D. Now, a 3D T-Rex coming down at you, and you see the scene with the kids and going after that poor lawyer dude, and
when you gotta go, you
gotta go. It was an intense, well done. Again, like you said, still holds up. I can't not love this movie enough.
Yeah. The T-Rex is just terrifying. Even all the little dinosaurs, whatever that is, that thing is terrifying too.
Growing up, my two favorite dinosaurs were the T-Rex #1 and the Triceratops #2, and both were in this movie. I loved seeing them. And along with all the other few dinosaurs that they were able to incorporate, which of course the big quote-unquote bad was the Velociraptor, which I didn't have much knowledge prior to that. I don't know if that was, I can't remember if those dinosaurs were as big prior to that movie or not.
No, I don't think so.
But they definitely left an impact.
My favorite was the Triceratops and the ones with the really long necks. The real tall ones.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember their names.
Brachiosaurus. God bless you. Yeah. So, the Laura Dern and Sam Neill as the dinosaur people, love them in this movie. The mathematician, Jeff Goldblum, stole the show with all his little quips.
Love Jeff Goldblum.
That's a big pile of bleep. And and which again, building up to which as of filming this video, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom is coming up, and he's featured in that with a lot of his lines. His character still holds to this day, and with a lot of the lines that he predicted saying in the first one,
Life finds a way,
and it's still carrying on 20-something years later. So his character is definitely one of the ones that still holds true and didn't kind of like one-off appearance, whatever, kind of like Vince Vaughn in the later in the series. you know, Jeff Goldblum definitely left an impact, and I still love his character to this day.
Yeah, I do too. Do you think something like that could ever happen?
It's possible.
Where they take blood from mosquitoes that have been preserved.
I think the way they displayed it and did it on the movie is well done. I'm not a scientist. I don't think it's possible.
Know if that's really possible.
But the way they present it to make it feel possible definitely leaves you wondering if there's an island out there with dinosaurs.
I think if there was a way to do it, they would do it. Because can you imagine how much money they would make?
Sure.
I would never go. I would never go.
It's true. She doesn't even go on the T-Rex, the river ride at Universal Orlando.
No, that thing's instant
Which,
diarrhea.
again, I still close... Pew. I still close my eyes at the end of it with the big T-Rex head coming down. Because I'm afraid something's going to break and I'm going to end up in that T-Rex. The entire thing's going down and I'm going up with the head. Mm-mm.
I don't like that ride.
No. It is cool until the drop and the T-Rex head. But again, that shows how well that's done and that how well the movie and dinosaurs still affect people today. Mm-hmm. I thought Wayne Knight as Dennis with his can of Barbasol, he was pretty good.
He was a good bad guy. Trying to capitalize on what they were doing.
He was coming off. Was still filming his parallel to Seinfeld, so kind of both seedy characters, and he definitely fit in well with this one. And again, he's kind of responsible for everything that happened. So you kind of have to wonder what would happen if all that didn't happen. So, but yeah, definitely, especially with his workstation the way it was, and
You didn't say the magic word.
That's pretty good.
I've seen it many times.
But one of my complaints, which I only noticed it whenever I watched it in his, was they spent all this money, the best money could buy, as Richard Attenborough.
Spared no expense.
Spared no expense was the line. But as you see when he's driving, hits the sign, the freaking sign goes bloop, 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 bloop. Don't you think they could have invested in better signs so that whenever you knock the sign down and lift the thing up, you would know exactly which way to the port?
But they were still in the testing phase.
For everything else, but them signs were up. Them signs were legit. They weren't testing the signs.
True.
So that was kind of like, even though, yeah, it was for storyline purposes, I'm just like...
And that place really flooded when it rained. It didn't rain for that long, and it was like flooding.
It was a big hurricane, I said. I forget the character's name, but the Velociraptor, or basically the hunter that was there, clever girl. I really liked him. I wish, unfortunately, the actor passed away between this one and the next one. He was, I think, supposed to be back, but since he had passed away, they left his character.
I thought he died in this movie.
They were going to work it out to where he just got hurt real bad or something.
Oh, okay.
But I really liked him as the go-to, macho man, huntsman type that basically knew something was wrong, especially with he was not a fan of the Velociraptors, and he ended up paying the price for it.
What did you think of the kids in this movie?
Steven Spielberg loves to have kids in his movies. I don't have an issue. Actually, I enjoyed the kids in this one.
I did too.
I think the next two movies, and I'll go in. I wish the kids would have been left out. I really enjoyed the two kids in this one. I did not enjoy them in the next two. But I thought that they added something, especially to the Alan Grant character.
Yeah, because he didn't like children.
And Ellie's trying to get him warm on it, because you can tell that they were together or trying to be together, and audiences were really hoping that they end up together. That's all I'm saying. The next time that we see them in a movie, I would really like to see them two together.
where it was clear that she wanted children and he didn't, and she was kind of pushing them on him to be in the same
really
car.
hope that they have children when they show them together in the next, maybe Jurassic Park 3.
Hopefully.
We'll find out in that episode.
Find out.
But yes, I love the kids. Yeah, I thought they interact even in the scenes where they're together. I think that, what's the boy's name? Tim. Tim is going to end up in therapy with all the stuff that he's been through in this movie.
And we're back in the car.
Between the T-Rex at first, and then falling into the tree, and then being back in the car, and then being electrocuted by a 10,000 volt fence.
And then being in the kitchen with the raptors.
I mean, that kid, if he's not in therapy today, I really wish, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up as the main villain of the Jurassic World saga. But yeah,
or maybe he's a preacher not getting stung by snakes.
That's a good point. Stay frosty.
Little Justified reference for you.
Which I didn't realize it was the same kid. But again, you just don't think of actors or kid actors from 20 years prior.
I felt like the girl was I liked her, but a little overacting sometimes. I mean, I understand being terrified and scared, but she was just...
Have you ever had a T-Rex after you?
No, and honestly, I'd probably be the same way, but she...
Have you ever had a Brachiosaurus blow boogers all over you?
No.
I'm just saying. Yes, there's probably overacting, but again, you got to give it your all when you're facing off against a T-Rex.
Very true.
Do you think the actors were overacting when especially, like the Jeep scene when they're chasing away from the T-Rex? Must go faster, must go faster.
No.
Okay, just checking. I love how sweet they made Hammond's character as a sweet old man compared to the book, where apparently he was the quite opposite. Loved him as the creator of Jurassic Park, and
he was very genuinely passionate about what they were doing or trying
kind
to do.
of really felt bad when everything fell apart with the park and what was inevitably happened. And of course, they brought in that one lawyer who ironically was the first one to get eaten, so it was kind of a fitting theme there that they did by the biggest, baddest dinosaur of them all. And then ironically, by the end of the movie, it was the T-Rex that saved the day. When they were facing off against a couple of raptors. Which, and again, when we rewatched it the other day, we don't know how the T-Rex got in there without anybody knowing.
Yeah, that was my question. I'm like, how did the T-Rex get in this building?
We were just glad he showed up.
Doors?
That's part of with the DNA process that they did. He's able to minuscule and then. That's just okay. I tried. Anyway. But yes, he ended up the big hero and saved the day, faced off against the Velociraptors. And you'll know that by the Velociraptors left scars on its neck. And that's relevant because once Jurassic World comes out, one of the big stars is the T-Rex from the original Jurassic World.
It's the same one?
Same one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're a fan of Jurassic Park, I definitely recommend Jurassic Park Universal, because I love going into that section, especially the I don't know if it's the eatery, but downstairs you got stuff for the kids, but it definitely feels like a scene from the movie when you walk in.
Mm-hmm. They did a good job recreating that building.
So I can't get enough of this movie.
And they have the cars set up. They have the T-Rex there to take pictures with. And apparently, since we've been, they have some sort of live raptor thing. I would really like to see that.
Yep. I was a fan of the 3D update when they released it a couple years ago for the 20th anniversary. And now we're facing the 25th. I'm sorry, this came out in 93. Now we're at the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park. And like you said earlier, the movie just holds up well. The acting, yet another appearance by Samuel L. Jackson. Hold on to your butts. And If you're a fan of Jurassic Park and all the movies, definitely recommend the Lego game Jurassic Park. You'll have a lot of fun playing it. And even when you play the first movie and you get to that infamous T-Rex scene, even the Lego game,
it still freaks
you out a little bit.
It's still scary.
Gotta play that game with the lights on, gotta be honest.
Even though it's Lego.
It's a Lego.
It's a cuter version. It's still scary.
It's still a little scary. But it's also a lot of fun to walk around and... that's my only complaint with it, is that you can't really... it's only in certain areas. You can't really tear through the way you'd want to. But it's still fun to play. Still, they did a good job with not just this movie, but the next 3 sequels that come after it. Mm-hmm. So, anything else? Final thoughts about anything that we may not have talked about?
You did bring up a good point when we were watching the movie, when they were in the helicopter.
Oh, yes.
Seatbelts.
Yes. So, when they're first flying to the island, and they're all meeting for the first time on the helicopter, they're all fastened in their seatbelts. And if you remember, Alan Grant only had 2 female ends. How is he supposed to fasten his seatbelt? Alan found a way and tied them all together. Why is that relevant? Because all the dinosaurs are female, and as Ian Malcolm predicted, life will find a way. Because when they interviewed Dr. Wu, yes, and they're trying to find out how they're all bred and stuff, and they control the breeding, and how do you go out there and it's, lift all their skirts? They were adamant that wouldn't happen. But Alan Grant later found eggs, and it's because of the reptiles that they used. Life found a way. They started to mutate into... So that was, as you mentioned...
Like foreshadowing.
It was foreshadow what was coming, and I just kind of thought that was a cool little thing that he found. He used 2 female ends and found a way to still fasten himself. And that was kind of a nice little foreshadow to what was going to come with the movie and the series.
I would never have caught that.
Well, you watch it a few times in 20 years, and stuff kind of catches on to you.
True.
Kind of like that, and then you go from that to that stupid sign that Dennis hit.
Yeah, this is just a really good movie. It's a movie that I think I could watch over and over again and still never be tired of it.
I only bought this one on digital, and then Jurassic World came with it, but those are my favorite too. And then if not for the fact that they're starting to sell the digital, I probably wouldn't have bought the second or third one just because they're not as strong my favorites. But Jurassic Park 1 still holds up for me.
For sure.
Any other thoughts, ideas, stuff that just bothers you, stuff that you didn't like? Any of the characters? Did you like Ian Malcolm? You liked everybody? Anybody you're rooting for going forward?
I'm very excited for Jeff Goldblum coming back.
So with Jurassic Park, as we said, we both loved it, and yes, due to the success of this one. And I even remember for the next few years, every Thanksgiving, NBC played this movie. It was like a Thanksgiving tradition. Jurassic Park 1 was a huge hit. And in the next one, we will review Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. And that one does bring back Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. So, but yeah, we'll go more into that one. But a lot of excitement going into the next one. Of course, it's a sequel, so is it going to be bigger and badder and quote-unquote better? We'll find out, but again, love this one. So, yeah, so that's a wrap for our Jurassic Park review.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. We'd appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't already. We're putting out new videos every week. I promise we won't talk about Marvel every time.
We didn't talk about Marvel.
I know, this was the first non-Marvel one
right.
we've done. I'm just saying. So, anyway... Thank you for watching.
We appreciate you checking in to see what we have to say. Until next time, I'm Mark.
And I'm Fallon.
Stay frosty. Peace.